can't even take myself seriously. I can't even look at the thing. I can't look. You might have to turn that off. Welcome to Nightly Scroll. I'm Dan Bongino, obviously. No, I'm Hayley Caronia, but happy Hayley-ween. This is the last costume that I have for you, so had to go out with a bang. I was thinking of being the Joker. I had bought all of the Joker accoutrement. I wanted to do the green slick back hair, but Justin said that he was not pleased with what I had planned for my costume, that it wasn't sufficient to be the Joker, and he's been pushing for Dan Bongino for, I don't know what, like a week now?
Chat, you are welcome.
So, yes, Dan Bongino it is. And Dan, if you're watching, I'm sorry that I made your beard patchy. Your beard's not patchy. I just was using mascara. So did the best that I could. I know everyone misses Dan, so this should do it. This should hold you over for a little bit longer. Congratulations to Matt on X, who guessed Dan Bongino. Someone else actually guessed a minute before Matt, but they said, I think you're going to dress as Dan Bongino. LOL, LOL, just kidding, Cleopatra. So I didn't count it because he revoked the guess. So the next guy, Matt, had a full-throated guess of Dan Bongino. So he is being rewarded with Nightly Scroll merch. So thank you to everyone for playing along. No costume tomorrow, but I will have a show and a great interview. So with all that said, thank you for tuning in and all the audience engagement this week for Hayley-ween. It's been a lot of fun. It's my favorite holiday. I'm not even dressing up on Halloween, but all week long, I feel like I got to have fun. So all right, quick reminder to subscribe. If you're watching on X or on Facebook right now, come on over to Rumble, join everyone in the live chat. Rumble.com/Hayley will bring you to the Bongino Report channel where you can subscribe to Nightly Scroll. That is the only place that you can watch the show in full, so make sure that you do that. If you want to watch later on, you can't catch us at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, that is fine. You can watch on Rumble whenever you want or on your favorite podcast platform, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. You can listen as soon as the show is over. All right, let's talk about the show tonight, right? We've got Kamala Harris. She has some kind of imposter syndrome. She was talking to the host of Diary of a CEO. I'll be honest, I didn't watch the whole podcast, but we'll get into it. We've got Jasmine Crockett getting fact-checked in real time on CNN. Also, Hakeem Jeffries being fact-checked in real time on CNN. Have to give CNN credit where credit is due. I love the fact-checks in real time. I've got an interesting story about baby names. Apparently in America, people are naming their babies after weapons. I don't know. We're just in a violent mood, I guess. People are naming their sons things like Maverick and Arson and Dagger and things like that. So we're going to get into that. Scott Bryson is also on deck to do tactical detail. We're going to do some road rage incidents, some Halloween safety tips. So stay tuned for that. All of that coming up on Nightly Scroll. All right, so I must admit, Kamala Harris was on the Diary of the CEO podcast, and it was a long interview, so I didn't watch the whole thing. I think it was an hour and 45 minutes or almost 2 hours, but I watched a little bit of it. And, you know, the host, I don't know who the host is, to be honest with you. I forget his name, but he's got a great voice and a great British accent. So, I've never watched an episode, but it piqued my interest because Kamala Harris was on. Does she count as a CEO? I don't think so. But anyway, she was asked if she ever wanted to run for president. And she said no, meaning like, did she ever aspire to be the president of the United States? And she said no. Even when she was a senator, she apparently had no aspirations to be the president of the United States. But someone had told her, like a friend of hers, told her that she should run. And she claimed on this podcast that that was really the first time that she had ever thought about it, which I think is a lie. I think it's a lie. I think as someone who is a prosecutor, a deputy district attorney, and then a DA, and the attorney general of California, and then a senator, I mean, is the Senate just it? You're going to stop after the Senate? Don't people run for office and they want to do more? They want to get more power? I feel like people who run for office, they have to be like a little delusional, a little self-centered, and they have to have a whole lot of confidence. So I think it's odd that she says she never wanted to be the president of the United States until someone else told her. And, I think a lot of people who run for political office have greater aspirations than just to serve their local community or state. I don't think a lot of people go into public service because they're passionate about public service. I just think, that's something nice that they say, but they end up making a ton of money and they get super corrupt. And I think it's a power thing. But, someone tells her, like a friend of hers says, you should run for president. And then, you just say, okay. I mean, maybe she should have trusted her gut, and maybe she shouldn't have run for president, because as we know, she didn't get any votes in 2020 when she ran for president. She was one of the least popular candidates. No one casted a vote for her. She was, chosen as the DEI vice president of the United States. Very unlikable, but Joe Biden picked her because of all the check boxes, and it worked for him. But, you can't just run an old white guy on the Democrat side. You have to get the DEI in there. So, yeah, it's just interesting. And, in this interview, she recalled losing to President Trump. And here she is saying the quiet part out loud. Listen to this.
I was in a state of shock.
Really? Mm. Did you think the day before that you were going to win the election? Yeah. And so when did the proverbial penny drop?
When I got a call from my campaign manager that it looks like we need 200,000 more votes that we can't find. Meaning it's just the map, the numbers. Mm. And the thing I kept saying over and over again, I was in a state of shock. I was so inarticulate, but maybe very articulate. What I kept saying over and over again is, my God, my God, my God.
Really?
Over and over. I couldn't stop. I haven't felt that emotion, anything similar to the emotion I felt that day and for quite some time, other than the grief I felt when my mother died. I was in a state of shock.
Really? Mm. Did you think the day before that you were going to win the election?
I did.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay, so she thought she was going to win, but she needed to find 200,000 more votes. That's an odd way of putting it. You don't find votes, you earn them. So I wonder if that was a slip of the tongue, after receiving millions of less votes than a vegetable in 2020. But Kamala Harris also sat down with an Australian Broadcasting Corporation journalist, Sarah Ferguson, who was not going to take no for an answer. She wasn't going to take word salad as an answer, and she wasn't going to she wasn't going to let Kamala Harris get away with pivoting from answering her questions. Hilarious. She's asking her about the campaign that she ran on, her running mate, the president of the United States, who was clearly failing in front of all of our eyes. Everyone saw it. And then she's talking about, Donald Trump, he's selling the voters a bill of goods and blah, blah, blah. What does that have to do with anything? And good on Sarah Ferguson for stopping the word salad, stopping her right in her tracks. Good on her for calling Kamala out. If Kamala was as willing as she claimed she was in the back half of that video to criticize Joe Biden and call out his failing mental health, I mean, she should have just done that straight off the bat. You don't have to bring up President Trump. You don't have to deflect and bring up President Trump when the question is about you and the campaign that you ran and your failing president. Just insane. All right, as we know, Trump officials are they're the target of leftist violence, of doxing, of things like that. And there is a report in The Atlantic about Trump officials getting military housing. This is housing that is supposed to go to senior military officials and generals, but people like Stephen Miller, Kristi Noem, and others are being housed there for their safety. So I want to read you a little bit of this. It says, the former White House advisor, Katie Miller, mother of 3 young children and wife of presidential right-hand man Stephen, walked out of her front door one Thursday morning last month and was confronted by a woman she did not know. The stranger had told Miller, "I'm watching you." And this was the day after Charlie Kirk's assassination. It also wasn't anything new. For weeks before Kirk's death, activists had been protesting the Millers' presence in North Arlington, Virginia. Someone had put up wanted posters in their neighborhood with their home address denouncing Stephen as a Nazi who had committed, quote, crimes against humanity. A group called Arlington Neighbors United for Humanity warned in an Instagram post, quote, your efforts to dismantle our democracy and destroy our social safety net will not be tolerated here. So there are Trump administration officials that are not safe in their own neighborhoods. They're not even safe in their own homes. So Stephen Miller has joined now a growing list of Trump administration political appointees that are living in military housing now, where they have their own essentially built-in security from political violence. I mean, they have to separate themselves from these leftist protesters who are violent and want to do harm. And liberal protesters and liberal media, they will decry the fact that Trump administration officials are giving, they're being given temporary housing on military bases. And normally I would agree. However, with the incessant attacks on them, the doxing of their home addresses, the threats on their families, that does not allow them to live safely in their homes. You should be able to be safe in your home, regardless of political affiliation, regardless of where you work. And yet they have been driven out of their homes and communities out of fear of protesters and radical leftists. Because as we know, liberal protesters don't always remain peaceful, and CNN's idea of a peaceful protest is burning cities to the ground. So they complain about the Trump administration's response to issues that they create. And it's totally evil to have people fear for their lives and the lives of their young children. And especially in the case of the Miller family, they have 3 young children. Protesters confronting them and threatening them at their door. This goes way beyond political disagreement. The left wants to run these people out of town and make sure that they don't feel safe. I can't remember this happening to anyone on the right, but I can remember it happening to Supreme Court justices who were appointed by President Trump during the overturning of Roe versus Wade, violent protesters doxing the home addresses of Amy Coney Barrett, Neil Gorsuch, Brett Kavanaugh. Protesters covered in blood chanting outside their homes, fake blood. And even Tucker Carlson's family home was attacked by Antifa protesters. This was years ago when he was still working at Fox, but he talked about his wife being at home fearing for her life. And I can't think of a time a leftist was fearing for their lives at home because of conservative protesters. They might be fearing for their lives at home because of the problems that they create in their heads, but they don't have their addresses doxed by people on our side of the political aisle. It just doesn't happen. This is completely one-sided because the left hates civil discourse. This is their way or the highway, and they will resort to violence and threats in order to get it. And a recent example of this, leftists shutting down civil discourse, is on the campus of Fort Lewis College in Durango, Colorado. 8 students there at the school were interested in creating a Turning Point USA chapter, and the Associated Students of Fort Lewis College denied their request. Watch this.
SFLC is navigating a difficult decision, one where many of our morals and ideals must be pushed to the side within the interests of the student body. Our policies, our expectations for our table work through viewpoint neutrality, which requires us to set aside our own viewpoints and the base of our decisions on outline policy, values, and feedback from the student body of that of which we serve. In light of the opinions and concerns shared to us today by both sides of the discussion, with a vote in favor, opposed, and no abstentions, we have decided to deny Turning Point USA's request to become an RSO1 at this time.
And it's met with cheers from people in the crowd. People are cheering that they've decided to not allow a Turning Point USA chapter on their campus. So students can engage in freedom of speech at an event put on by the political science department, but 8 students can't create a Turning Point USA chapter. How is that really any different from having a college Republicans or a college Democrat, campus Democrat group? Why would Turning Point USA not be allowed? And they knew that this would spark questions about the college's commitment to the First Amendment. So, of course, they have to say, oh, well, you're welcome to use the campus resources if you want. Well, yeah, they're students at the damn school. Why wouldn't they be able to use campus resources? What are they insinuating? Like, oh, if you guys want to meet, you can use, a classroom or something? They pay to go there. So this is going to backfire big time because public universities cannot censor or punish speech because it's unpopular or controversial or some beta losers on this board decide that they don't want the smoke of having Turning Point USA on campus. They don't want to deal with the backlash from all the other liberal losers who are going to lose their minds over it. But campuses are expected to be this marketplace of ideas. You're supposed to have debate. You're supposed to be able to challenge each other and speak freely. You're supposed to be able to protest. You're supposed to be able to express your views. But I guess in Durango, Colorado, they're not interested in that. I smell a huge lawsuit, and I hope the truth prevails, and the Constitution, for that matter. But speaking of truth, I got to give credit to Caitlin Collins on CNN, who has fact-checked Democrats in real time. So here is Jasmine Crockett getting fact-checked when she took Caroline Leavitt's words and twisted them. Watch this.
Do you believe this will be the week that Congress comes to an agreement here?
I have no idea. I mean, you started off talking about the fact that the president is in Japan. The president has time to do everything but what he needs to focus on. In fact, we heard the press secretary say that his main priority is the ballroom that no one asked for, the ballroom that requires him to destroy historic pieces of the White House. And so it doesn't seem like he's interested.
And that context of the comment from Caroline Leavitt, she was asked if the president was working on any other renovations when it came to the White House, and she was saying his focus was the ballroom. But to your point about what the president said.
There we go. You got to give credit where credit is due, and she wasn't done. Here she is fact-checking Hakeem Jeffries. Watch this.
Said that Mike Johnson's not willing to sit down and have a conversation. Y'all did have a phone conversation, I believe you said earlier today. Who initiated that call? Was that you or was that Speaker Johnson?
It was a call from Mike Johnson. It was very brief, and it wasn't a substantive discussion in terms of finding a path forward.
But was he calling to talk about the government shutdown?
I mean, you could say that was in the ballpark, but, it was a private conversation that will remain private. However, nothing meaningful came out of it, again, because Donald Trump has not given Mike Johnson permission to enter into a bipartisan negotiation. Caitlin, I mean, House Republicans have been literally on vacation for the last 5 weeks. They've canceled votes 5 consecutive weeks in a row. They are uninterested in doing anything other than jamming their partisan Republican spending bill down the throats of the American people. And as Democrats, we've made clear we will not support a partisan Republican spending bill that continues to gut the health care of the American people. Period. Full stop.
He's lying. He's lying. He wants to push this narrative that Republicans aren't coming to the table, and Speaker Mike Johnson isn't concerned with the government shutdown. He doesn't want to, apparently, the Democrats say that he doesn't want to end this. He wants to keep it going when the Democrats are the ones who aren't coming to the table. And I love that Caitlin Collins was able to ask Hakeem Jeffries, well, you had a phone call with the speaker today. Who called who? Oh, Mike Johnson, the one who's not willing to come to the table, he called you? And then he's like, oh, well, did you talk about the shutdown? Oh, well, it was in the ballpark. Of course it was in the ballpark. Of course Mike Johnson is trying to get this deal done. Of course. And more lying from the Democrats. It's just insane. Now, we don't hate the media enough. I just gave Caitlin Collins some credit for, doing her journalistic due diligence and holding these Democrats who are lying to account. But we do not hate the media enough. Here is a local NBC affiliate and they are covering an illegal alien who got detained. And here is how they covered this story, and then I'll tell you the truth. Watch this.
Get back. Get back. Don't touch my mom. Don't touch my mom.
This frantic cell phone video was taken by a San Jose teenager Saturday morning. His family says ICE agents took his father into custody.
They're taking my dad.
One officer is seen in the video wearing an official ICE badge. ICE did not respond to NBC Bay Area's request for comment or confirmation that they detained 42-year-old Gerardo. The family's Ring video shows Gerardo in his black truck at 7:54 a.m. about to head to his construction job when multiple people who appear to be federal officers approach his truck and yell for him to get out. Gerardo is undocumented. His wife, Idalia, says she's a U.S. citizen. She ran to the truck to try to stop the arrest. She requested we not show her face.
It's about 7 or 8 people, at least 3 with no uniform at all. They didn't identify themselves or anything.
Idalia says the scene quickly turned ugly, with one agent using a taser on her husband and a woman not in uniform hitting her 22-year-old daughter with a baton, though that's not shown on camera.
They keep pushing and pulling, and I was like, well, I'm not going to let you take him if you don't show me any paper.
So, of course, they're painting this as a sob story of this hardworking, San Francisco dad, right? This is how they paint all these illegal aliens. Oh, he's a Maryland dad who just happens to be a gangbanger and a wife beater. So this is the same thing, right? This is an illegal alien. And the wife of the illegal alien, who is an American citizen, said that, all these masked ICE agents, they came here, they didn't have any paperwork. The wife of the illegal immigrant is demanding she sees paperwork from the law enforcement officers who are arresting her husband for not having papers. I mean, make it make sense. And it turns out that the man was arrested because he was a criminal illegal alien from Mexico, and he had a rap sheet including lewd acts with a child, battery of a spouse, so here's another one, and providing compensation for prostitution. So he's not really the upstanding citizen that the NBC Bay Area news team was trying to make him out to be. Why would you be covering for someone who's a pedophile, a wife beater, and someone who engages in prostitution? It's just disgusting. You do not hate the media enough. And the guy, by the way, he had a previous removal order, and he illegally re-entered the United States. So he was supposed to be kicked out. He came back. It's just this catch and release BS. They wait until there's a Democrat in office like Joe Biden, and then they just waltz back over and commit more crimes. It's just disgusting. And all we want are stronger borders. We want politicians who will fight for American citizens. But we're seeing the exact opposite in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Here is Omar Fateh, who is running to be the mayor of Minneapolis. And here he is pledging his allegiance to Somalia. Watch.
Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. Somalia. Hiran State. Mawisle. Early voting was hadda illa November 4. I need your vote. I need you. Hadan Udkina, hello. We're going to win.
He's calling on Somalians to vote for him for mayor of Minneapolis. If you are saying that you are, this is for Somalia, and you're waving the flag of another country, you should not be running for political office in America. This is not Somalia first. You're supposed to be running to represent the people who live in Minneapolis. So why don't you try a Minnesota flag? Why don't you try an American flag and try again? Better yet, don't try again. Go back. Go back home. All right. Last thing that I have for you before we bring in Scott is this crazy baby name story. So BuzzFeed did an article and they were talking about this baby name trend where Americans are naming their babies aggressive things, and it is seriously alarming experts, according to BuzzFeed, which is obviously a joke. But this is an excerpt from the article. It says, there is a small but noticeable trend of parents using weapons-inspired and more broadly, aggressive names for their sons. And some of the responses, or some of the examples rather, are Wesson, Caliber, Shooter, Trigger, Blade, Cannon, Remington, Colt, Ruger, and Winchester. Also Arson, Cutter, and Dagger. The eagle screech for Dagger. Yeah, it just, something is, these names really get you going. They do. So here is some more information. It says, most of these names peaked in use relatively recently. Wesson in 2021, it was used 306 times. There are 306 babies in a year being named Wesson. Could you imagine twin boys named Smith and Wesson? So Wesson in 2021 was used 306 times. Caliber was used 24 times in 2018. Mace was used in 2022 64 times. I could see Mace being a nickname for Mason, but Mace spelled M-A-C-E, or like Macy for a girl, but Mace?
Like Windu?
I don't like that. I don't like
Shouldn't
Mace.
even get it.
I don't like Mace. I'm out on that one. Dagger, I'm also out on. Dagger, maybe that's a name. Dagger and Trigger, Cutter, Arson. You're gonna name your son Arson? You're setting him up to fail.
Where's Bunker Buster?
It's crazy.
A little Bunker Buster Caronia.
But some of these names I think would make good names for a dog. You know, Shooter, Trigger, Blade. You can't name a human child Blade. Come on. This is crazy. What happened to like James, or what happened to Kevin? What happened to, I don't know, anything normal? Also, people are using Barrett. Dutton, Stetson, and Boone are also Maverick. These are probably more Southern, and that's not as aggressive, but it's more like American cowboy manly. I don't mind Stetson, I guess. I don't know. Bring back normal names. What do you guys think in the chat? Someone says Colt sounds good. Yeah, Colt is kind of cool.
Howitzer.
Chief and Major, those are Biden's dogs' names, right? Major and he had Commander. Remember the dogs that were like wreaking havoc and biting everyone in the White House? See, that's what happens. You name them these names and then they live up to the prophecy. They become, are all these kids named, Wesson and Colt? Are they going to be school shooters? Like what are they going to grow up to be? Former Secret Service agent and host of the Beyond the Service podcast and Silverlock contributor Scott Bryson is here for Tactical Detail. Oh my goodness. Are you Bob Ross?
Thought we would do some happy little safety tips tonight.
I thought you were going to dress as Cash and we could just be this FBI tag team. That's hilarious.
Yeah, I'm going to have to get rid of this.
Okay. Well, it was funny while it lasted. So thank you for joining me.
Icebreaker.
I absolutely love it. All right. So before we get into the Halloween stuff, we have some road rage incidents. So we'll talk about how to react in a situation like that. So let's cue up the first video.
Learn to drive.
Get the fuck out. Get the fuck.
Learn to drive.
Get the fuck out of my house now. Who do you think you are? Alex, shut the fuck up. You're letting me stop. You yelled at me?
Yeah, and you
okay,
deserve it.
Okay, calm the fuck down. Who do you think gay off people's Shut the fuck up, get out. You follow me to my house, you fucking creep. Who the fuck do you think you are, you bitch? Nah. Go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself, you fucking bitch. Yeah, ride that fucking curb. Ride that fucking curb. Who the fuck do you think you are? Give me that fucking thing. Give me that fucking thing. Get the fuck out of here, bitch.
Someone in the chat said, way to de-escalate the situation. What's your take on this?
Oh my gosh. I wonder if she kisses her mom with that mouth. Well, it takes two to tango, and I'm not sure who was wrong in that event. It doesn't really matter because they both ended up being wrong. I mean, she probably shouldn't have gone to her house if she was, or unless she was the aggressor. I'm not sure which way it played out. I think he said she was on his tail or something like that. But regardless, maybe instead of going home, drive to a police department if you're actually in fear, or a fire department. Fire departments are always good options, right? Because it's usually a bunch of dudes. I'm not saying there aren't some women firemen, but there's a lot of guys usually hanging around outside unless they're going to a call. So if you're in fear for your life or worried about a road rage situation, I probably wouldn't go home. And then it was very oxymoronic because she was like, calm down. But yet her voice kept going up and she kept cursing. I mean, here's the thing. We don't know what she looks like. He was an older guy and he wasn't very big in stature, but what if he would have gone back to the car and gotten a gun?
Right.
I mean, there's no reason to antagonize people. That was ridiculous.
Yeah, it's even if you get into a road rage type situation, I mean, this doesn't really happen to me. I mean, I don't like being caught behind a slow driver or anything, but, taking a few deep breaths is helpful, I think. But, I don't know why someone would follow someone else to their house to just like verbalize and continue the road rage. That just seems unhinged to me. But this next one is also a situation that got out of hand. Let's watch this.
I don't play with a motherfucking man. A man is not gonna play with me. You gonna play with me, bitch. 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 You gonna play with me, bitch, now. Now, because one thing about it, I don't play with no mother. Don't touch me. Tell police be here.
What just happened?
That's not good. I don't know what's wrong with people, and I don't know how we got there, but it doesn't matter because, like, we're there, right? And if you find yourself in the street with another human being, even though he was much bigger than the woman, she's got a gun. I don't know if he even, I'm assuming he saw it. I didn't see it the first time I watched the video.
Yeah.
Then I saw it, I heard the gunshot and went back and said, holy crap, there's a gun. First of all, put your phone up. Yeah, you're bigger in stature. That's great. But she's got a pistol and, put your phone up. And then I don't even know how he got in that situation. It's very hard for me to try to dissect this because it makes no sense. If you find yourself on the business end of someone else's gun, you're in big problem. You're in trouble. I think his wife or girlfriend or third party was filming it. Instead of filming it, call the cops. What are we doing filming everything?
Yeah.
People are crazy. Anyway, what I would do, God forbid I'm in that situation. First of all, I wouldn't antagonize you. If you had a gun, I'm like, oh, my bad, sorry, and start trying to backpedal and de-escalate. I wouldn't be standing there doing some type of Texas two-step with the lady. That was bizarre.
I was going to say, wouldn't you just drive away?
I wouldn't even be in the situation. That's ridiculous. I don't know where these people are, what they're doing, but you never know who's in the car next to you. Like, I feel like I can handle myself in most situations, not all, but I feel pretty confident in my abilities most of the time. But guess what? There's always somebody out there a little tougher, a little stronger. Maybe they have a weapon. You don't. There's no reason to engage with strangers like this. Anyway, what I would do in that situation, if it was that bad, and it was that bad, I would put my phone up, and then we talk about this on your show all the time. These are the things that kill people. You can be mad and have an ugly scowl. That doesn't hurt you. The hands are what hurt you. And I would, unfortunately, he was in it knee deep, right? And I would try to go both hands to one. You're going to take two hands to one. You're going to have to isolate that weapon. I wouldn't recommend getting in a tussle with somebody with a gun. The problem was she was waving the gun all around. She could have killed him multiple times. She could have killed the lady filming. She didn't. He looked like he knew what he was doing.
Right.
Looks like he probably knocked her out, and he took control of the gun. He manipulated the gun very well. He made the weapon safe and took it to the side. That whole thing, those two videos were very bizarre to me. I just don't know what people are thinking.
Yeah, I played a video, a road rage type situation on my show. This was like a few weeks ago. But there was this woman, or there was this guy following this woman, and she had left her cell phone on the roof of her car. So he was trying to like beep at her and get her attention to tell her that her phone was on the roof of her car. And she thought that he was just beeping at her. So then she's all angry, and he says, you know what, screw it. I was trying to help you. But, but again, people, it's just their instinct to get angry. And that's not good. But then I also saw another video that went viral recently of this woman getting so angry, and this guy in front of her was filming like behind him in the rearview mirror, and this woman is just like screaming, and they're stopped because there's a halt, like, well, I don't even know what they're like, a traffic cop or something, like in the street with a stop sign letting people walk by, and she's in the back just screaming and screaming and screaming. And I think it's easy to judge what people are without thinking what people are going through. And I saw a lot of the comments saying, one time I got into a road rage incident, and this woman said, I am on the way to the hospital. My husband is dying. And it just like puts it into perspective. Like, you never know maybe why someone is upset, but you just have to know that a road rage type incident, maybe it's something like that where they don't mean any harm, but they're in emotional distress. But it could always escalate, and it's good to be, on your toes and get away from danger. You're in a vehicle, drive away.
Hayley, can I add to that real quick? I love that you brought that up, because I was thinking the same thing. I'm not going to act like I've never gotten mad driving. Of course, we all get frustrated, but I do not engage in road rage. That guy could be a mob. He could be a mobster. Why would I do that? I'm not doing that. Yeah. So, to your point, what if the woman or the man just got diagnosed with cancer? Maybe their spouse is dying. Maybe they just buried their child the day before, and they're distraught, and they're just going out for a drive to clear the head. You just don't know what other people are going through, and it's called grace. And not enough people share that philosophy and that mindset. And I think it's just what we need to do as society is we just need to slow down a little bit, tap the brakes, no pun intended, and just take a deep breath.
All right, well, we're moving on from road rage, and now we're getting to Halloween territory, because a lot of people, as we know, are dressing up, and maybe someone could be dressing up as someone that they are not, and to always be wary of who you are allowing into your home. So here are two guys. They're dressed up in vests, claiming to be someone they are not. Watch this.
DTE. We're checking for gas leaks.
A 72-year-old man murdered in the basement of his home on Newcastle Drive in Rochester Hills. His wife tied up with duct tape upstairs. Oakland County Sheriff Mike Bouchard says they got inside by posing as DTE workers with a fake placard on their truck.
Horrible. So how do you know if someone is who they say they are? If someone is checking, they claim to be checking your meter or whatever, how do you believe they are who they say they are?
Yeah, that's a tough one, because, they look the part. They've got the placard on their car. I think one of the first things you have to ask yourself is, what time of day is it? Do people really check me? I don't know what time of day that was, but
it seemed like it was at night.
Yeah, it looked like it, right? So are people checking meters at 8 o'clock at night? No, most people work 9 to 5 or something like that. So I would be self-aware of like, hey, what time of day is this? If you're not really sure, first of all, you don't owe anybody anything. We say that on here all the time. You don't owe anybody anything. You can talk to them through the door. Don't even open the door. Talk to them through the door. And, maybe get on the phone and call your next door neighbor and say, hey, have you had a gas leak? Are you smelling gas? I've got this guy over here. At least maybe alert a neighbor to say, hey, there's somebody on my porch. Are you aware of this? I'm not personally on Facebook very much, but, everybody lives on Facebook. You can get on your community Facebook page and see if, people are loved to talk about their neighborhood watch type stuff. I just think you have to be self-aware. And the problem is these guys like this, they prey on the elderly, they prey on the vulnerable, because a lot of people that are older, their guards are just down. It's a different generation. They grew up in a different time. I think about my parents, they're in their 70s and 80s, right? They're a little older, and they're healthy and all that good stuff, but the world's a good place and it's a bowl of cherries. No, it's not. There are a lot of bad people out there, and we have got to learn to it's unfortunate that our radar has to be up all the time, but we just have to be cautious.
Yeah. So if two guys came to my door and they said, hey, we're checking the meter, I'm not going to open the door.
No.
But I guess I would maybe call the company. It's like ask what company they're with, and then just ask them, hey, did you send guys over? It's better to be safe than sorry, and unfortunately, if they are there for the right reasons, if they're standing outside or whatever, they have to come back later, then they do. But it's better to have, your life and not put your life at risk. So the last video that I have, and this went viral, maybe it was last week or the week before that, but this is a masked trio. They are dressed up in Halloween costumes, and they were trying to break into someone's home. Watch this. So this is like a clown breaking into the house or trying to break into the house, and two guys behind him. I mean,
Your worst nightmare. Come on. It's either you come out or we coming in.
No. All right. Right now is the time to be getting on the phone, either calling a neighbor or calling 911. We talk about that all the time on your show, Hayley. Don't be afraid to call 911. Now, listen, we're not going to call 911 because your kid won't do his homework. We have to be self-aware, right? But you got three knuckleheads standing on the porch, and you might let it play out for a minute or so to see if it's a prank. But once your spidey senses are going off, it's time to call the cops right now.
It don't matter how it takes. Open the door. Open the door.
No.
I mean, thankfully the door was locked. They seem to be opening the front door, the screen door, but the actual door to the house is locked. Just a reminder to always keep your door locked, because just these three loons are out there, and their faces are covered, right? I mean, you don't know how to identify these people. And around this time of year, people are going to be dressed up. Some people are cosplaying as law enforcement. Watch out for those people. They don't always have good intentions. But lastly, do you have any tips for trick-or-treating, checking Halloween candy? How can parents and families go out and celebrate Halloween safely?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think, it's not rocket science, safety in numbers, right? If you're going to go trick-or-treating and try to go with a group of people, if you have little, maybe not toddlers, but, elementary school age kids, I would always have a line of sight on them. We're not going to run off and check back in 15 minutes. That's not happening. I'm going to be able to, if you can't see me, then I can't see you. And that's not going to happen, Junior. So, I know you're excited that we're going to run around, but you have to, if you can't see mom and dad, then you got to slow up, right?
Yep.
Another thing that these parents could do, you could get a chem stick, like a glow light, the fluorescent green or orange, and you could tie that around a child's neck. And I know some people might not want to do that because of choking and stuff, but you could get a string or something and kind of let it be loose. And you could tie a chem stick around your child. And see, if you got three kids, they're all three green. So you can see the three little green glow dots running around, or something like that. As far as the candy and stuff goes, when you get home, obviously, I think you should inspect the candy. I mean, when I was growing up, they used to put razor blades in apples and weird stuff. I mean, I know.
I feel like that was like 80s and 90s. I haven't heard of anything like that in recent years, but you never know. It's better to check.
Well, I saw one other thing today, Hayley, when I was thinking about this. And I don't know who this woman was, but it was a brilliant idea. She took a magnet and she ran the magnet over the candy wrappers.
Nice.
And I mean, I think it was staged, so she was showing a safety tip, right? But she was running a magnet over all the candy wrappers, and they were all fine. And then she ran across one that stuck. So she unwrapped it, and there was a needle inside of like a Reese's cup or something. So I thought that was pretty smart. There's all kinds of different things you could do, but I would say, number one, try to stay in a well-lit area. Probably not always going to happen. Not everybody lives in a subdivision, but you got to keep an eye on the babies. You can't let them get out of your sight.
Absolutely. Great tips. Scott Bryson, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
All right, for the last 10 minutes of the show, should I change into my other costume? So Andy pointed out, and I think I saw someone else in the chat also point out, that I look more like Kid Rock than Dan Bongino. maybe it's the face shape, but I'm going to just turn this cutesy time is over around. And, my earpiece is going to be all messed up now. But hold on. Gonna take this off. Pull up the photo so everyone can see just how uncanny this is. Why do I look like Kid Rock? Am I alone in this? Do I feel like, I mean, I don't know. Hold on. I don't know where my earpiece is now. I can't hear you guys. We're having some technical difficulties here. You got the photo? I mean, this is crazy. I wasn't trying to look like Kid Rock, but it's looking pretty like Kid Rock. More like Kid Rock. So anyway, dual purpose costume. Now the rest of the show, I'm going to be Kid Rock. Someone else in the chat says Kenny Chesney, Jared Leto. Yeah. So here, I forgot my, my fur jacket. Maybe next year. I'll have to have some new costume ideas for Halloween round 2 next year. But anyway, scrolling time. This first video that we have here is a Michigan judge who is just shocked after a police officer pulled what's that guy from CNN? Was it Jeffrey Toobin? Is that his name? Am I getting that wrong? What's that guy's name who had his pants off on the Zoom call? Same thing. Watch this.
Good morning to you. Can you put your appearance on the record, please?
Yes, Officer Jackson, badge number 3919, out of the 12th precinct.
All right.
You got to ask the camera judge.
You got some pants on, officer?
Sir, they're in the... No, sir.
Officer Jackson, okay, Miss Lee.
I mean, the funniest part of this video is, you got some pants on, officer? He just, switches it real quick. All right, this next video is an awesome costume. This is an Invisible Man costume, and wow. I mean, this is not CGI. This is not AI. This is a very well done costume. So watch this. So this woman's walking around. Her head has got to be under the shirt and jacket, but she's got a hat and glasses that, I don't know, maybe it's being held up by a very thin piece of plastic or something, but it literally looks like she has no head. Very well done. Very, very well done. How cool is that with the glasses? Justin, that's better than the FBI jacket you made me with.
Oh, come on.
By the way, I just want everyone to see this. We happen to know the deputy director, by the way, but we could not get, we did get an official hat. This is an official hat, like I said. But this is made out of paper plates. So
Straight from the dollar store.
Paper plates from the dollar store.
Paper
we did our
plates
best.
and love and pure artistic talent.
Very artistic. Thank you so much. All right, this next video, this is what I would call bad parenting. Watch this.
What does it say?
Please take one off each.
Nope. Come on, let's go. Oh, get one. That's right. All right, come on, let's go. Come on.
Laughing too. The mom is laughing while her kid is taking more than one. The sign says, take one, leave some candy for the rest of the neighborhood, leave some candy for the rest of the kids that are going to be coming for the rest of the night. No, this mom is saying she's laughing as her kid is stealing more candy. Just because the whole bowl is out there doesn't mean that the whole bowl is for you. And this mom is letting her kid steal and be a little shit. Bad parenting. But, maybe they're stocking up since their SNAP benefits are going to be canceled the next day.
You said it, not me.
I'll always say it. All right, this next video, this is a dog that just wants pets so desperately. It doesn't matter who they're coming from, even the scary Halloween decorations. Watch this.
Those are not real people.
They're not real people, but the dog is going over to see anyway. Doesn't matter how scary they are. Doesn't matter that they're skeletons.
They're literally fake skeletons.
His booty's wagging.
Baba, come on.
He's like, please, let me say hello. Let me say hello. I love it. Here's another dog that wants pets from a scary skeleton. Watch this.
My Yorkie Poo is so desperate for a friend. He wants this thing to pet him so bad.
He's laying down like, please pet my stomach, please.
You think Neo pets the dog?
Yeah, I do. The dog's trying to like reposition itself to like get under the hand. Like, please. All right. The next video is a dog that is getting spooked by the iconic millennial jump scare video. This is a warning. This is a jump scare video if you haven't seen this one. But I remember my childhood. This video is scary. Watch. Oh, it's just like scenic video. Uh-oh. And the dog falls for it. The dog falls for it. And this next video, this is a possum also getting spooked by a Halloween decoration. Watch this. And I don't know if this is AI or not, but there's a little like witch type thing. And, you know, these Halloween decorations, they go off and they start, you know, screaming or laughing or whatever. And, you know, was the possum trying to eat Halloween candy?
That's what it looked like.
I guess.
It's crazy. You can't trust any Ring video anymore because that's like AI
all
number
Ring
one.
video is AI. I'm looking for the Sora watermark and I didn't find one, but that doesn't mean that it's not AI. I saw an AI video today that I was going to pull for the show, and then I looked at the comments and they were like, you blurred out the Sora AI watermark, and I fell for it again. So anyway, these next decorations are for the Karens out there. Watch. So here are some skeletons in the front. No parking. You can't park here. I said buttery Chardonnay. I'm posting that on Facebook. Are you recording me? Joking about just the iconic Karen catchphrases. I'm calling the manager. I thought that was funny. All right. And this last one is a skeleton surprise. Watch this. It says honk for a surprise. And now the skeleton attached to the back of this car is peeing what I would assume is either water or like windshield wiper fluid out of its private parts. If it has any, I guess the skeleton doesn't have any, but can skeletons pee? I guess not. Now that I think of it, but that's very funny. I am actually all out of windshield wiper fluid, and the alarm, like the little light keeps coming on, and I called my dad, obviously, because I'm just a girl, and I said, how do I do this? Like, where do I go to get windshield wiper fluid?
They're at the dollar store right next to the yellow paper plates.
Again, this is coming from someone who hasn't driven a car in like 10 years before moving here, so I'm just a little rusty, okay? And he's explaining it to me on the phone, and I was like, never mind, I'm just going to find a man to do it. So I did buy the windshield wiper fluid. I just need to figure out how to. I'll watch a YouTube video.
Do you know how to pop the trunk or the hood?
No, I don't know how to do that.
No.
Nope.
Okay. We'll start there.
We'll figure it out. When the car starts making a really bad noise, that's when I'll take it in. Uh-oh. All right. Do you guys have blind reactions? Okay. We're going to finish off with some blind reactions.
All right, so I couldn't find any Halloween ones because I sent most of them to you, so they wouldn't be blind reactions.
Okay.
But we do have a new take on mead.
A new take on what?
Mead.
Mead?
Yeah, honey wine.
Oh, okay.
In order to turn hot dogs into delicious alcohol,
like,
I needed
what?
a
I
way
can't
to
hear.
extract the hot dog flavor into something fermentable. Surprisingly, hot dog wine is an understudied subject, and since hot dogs could be littered with harmful spores of bacteria, we're going to opt for just using the hot dog water. But don't worry, the hot dogs will come into play later. Started with a few pounds of honey, enough to supply enough sugar to hit 16% alcohol. And now with our hot dog water added to the mix, all that was left to do was add our yeast and let this hot doggy mix ferment for 30 days. Which it did, and this isn't exactly what my mead kit was intended for, but it actually worked surprisingly well. And the good news is it did in fact hit 16%. The only issue is the hot dog flavor was lacking, but luckily there is a way to intensify it.
Ew.
Now all that's left to do is have a taste. If you could collect the
This is
liquid that's at the
disgusting.
bottom of the garbage bin at a baseball game,
Yeah.
that is what we're drinking right now.
What would even listen? I like hot dogs. As you know, I eat sausage almost every morning for breakfast with my mustard. This is and sauerkraut. This is my New York. You can take the girl out of New York. You can't take the New York out of the girl. I would never want hot dog flavored anything to drink.
I'd try it.
You would try it?
I'd absolutely try that.
What do you think it tastes like with the honey in it?
I don't know. Probably hot dog water wine. Maybe a little sweet.
Do you think it's like fermented? Like it tastes like wine?
Oh yeah. Yeah. That process, they make mead like that. You put honey in the bottle and there's a whole process. And it's a thing that people do. So I guess the prerequisite of that joke would be knowing how they make mead. But now they made hot dog mead.
That's pretty gross. All right. How many more videos do you have for me?
All right. So I got a Disney flavor one for you.
Okay.
Tinkerbell. Oh, so good to see you. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Really?
Yeah, of course. I do impressions for a living.
No way.
Yes way.
Okay.
And I was wondering if I can do one of you. Is that okay?
Please do. Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Get in. Hey, my name's Tinkerbell. I'm tinking around.
I don't get it.
You don't get it.
No.
He was going to do a Tinkerbell impression. And then he did like Watto. Well, you don't know who that is. But
I don't know who that is.
It was not a Tinkerbell impression.
I can see that.
Goodness, man.
Do you have another one for me? One more.
All right, one more.
Hopefully I understand it. Aren't you girls scared to walk alone in the city at night? Oh, and nope, because they've got the National Guard behind them. I mean, hey, that's what they're there for. Making people feel safe. See, the hot girls feel safe when they see National Guard. Anyone else, they don't get it. All right. Thank you for watching along tonight. This is Kid Rock signing off. I do have a very fun and interesting interview tomorrow with a demonologist. His name is Rick Hansen. So no more guessing games for the costumes because I actually did. So I wanted to be the Joker today, and then I've never been a sheet ghost, like a classic sheet ghost. So I did buy like a big white sheet. Then I was thinking about it. I'm like, that doesn't really, I don't know if I'll be able to like hear or speak into the microphone. It might be a little impeded. I don't know. So I was going to wear that tomorrow. But then when I booked this interview, I was like, I can't do an interview with a demonologist dressed as a sheet ghost. It would just be totally ridiculous. You wouldn't be able to see my face or my mouth or anything. I was like, I can't. So anyway, I am dressed as myself tomorrow and I am interviewing a demonologist. So it is a very interesting conversation because they grew up Christian. His dad got into satanic rituals and stuff. And then he found his way back to Christ. And now he was helping people who are also struggling with this satanic rituals and things like this. He is helping Christians, find God again. So it's a little spooky, but it's also good. So it's all about the battle of good and evil. So make sure that you are following me at Hayley Caronia on all platforms.